€150. That's all it takes to get your foot inside Europe's digital system. And no, I'm not talking about golden visas that cost $500,000. I'm not talking about immigration lawyers charging thousands. And I'm definitely not talking about work visas that take 6 months, 8 months, sometimes even years. I'm talking about a real European Union country, a full Schengen member, one of the most digitally advanced nations on Earth. A country that is literally giving people around the world a government-issued EU digital identity for less than the price of a weekend shopping trip. And once you understand how this system actually works, you realize this isn't just a digital card. This can become your entry point into Europe, your business gateway, your professional identity inside the EU. And if you play this strategically, it can even help position you for long-term European residency and citizenship pathways. But here's the crazy part. Most people completely waste this opportunity. They apply for the card and then do absolutely nothing with it. No strategy, no networking, no business setup, no European positioning. And that's exactly why in this video, I'm going to show you the real way smart people are using Estonia's e-Residency system to build European businesses, access EU clients, work with startups, and potentially create a long-term pathway into Europe. So stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to explain is something most people still don't understand. Intro, hello everyone and welcome back to A Smart Card Europe. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. And if you're already part of this community, thank you for being here once again. On this channel, we talk about smart immigration pathways, European residency options, work permits, digital business opportunities, and practical strategies that can actually help people create international opportunities legally and strategically. And today, we're talking about one of the most misunderstood systems in Europe right now, Estonia's e-Residency. But this video is not going to be one of those basic videos where somebody just tells you, oh, you get a digital ID card. No, I'm going to break down how people are actually using this system strategically, how they're building businesses, how they're positioning themselves inside the European ecosystem, how they're connecting with European startups and clients, and how some people are using this as a long-term stepping stone toward living and working in Europe. So let's start from the beginning. What is Estonia e-Residency? First of all, let's clear up the confusion, because a lot of people misunderstand what e-Residency actually is. Estonia e-Residency is not a visa, it is not a passport, it is not permanent residency, and it does not automatically give you the right to live inside Europe. What it actually gives you is a government-issued digital identity. That means Estonia is basically saying, we trust you enough to become part of our digital business ecosystem. And honestly, that alone is extremely powerful. Because with this digital identity, you can verify yourself online, digitally sign legally binding documents, create and manage an EU company completely online, access Estonia's digital government services, and operate inside a European business structure from anywhere in the world. Now think about that for a second. You could literally be sitting in Dubai, London, Toronto, Berlin, New York, or Lahore, and still legally run an EU-based company through Estonia. That's the power of digital infrastructure. And Estonia is one of the few countries in the world that has truly mastered it. This program is also not new. Over 130,000 people from more than 170 countries have already received Estonia's e-Residency, and thousands of companies have already been created through this system. So this is not some experimental internet trend. This is a real government-backed ecosystem. Now let's talk about the application process. And honestly, this is probably one of the simplest European applications you'll ever see. You go to the official Estonia e-Residency website. The application itself usually takes around 30 minutes. You'll need your passport, a passport-style photo, basic personal information, and a short motivation statement explaining why you want e-Residency. Now, don't overcomplicate the motivation statement. You can simply explain that you want to build an EU business presence, work with international clients, create a digital company, or expand your professional opportunities in Europe. After that, you pay the government fee. Right now, it's around €150. Then Estonia's Police and Border Guard Board performs a background check. Processing usually takes anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks, and if approved, you receive an email saying your kit is ready for pickup. You then collect it from the nearest Estonian embassy or pickup location. Inside the kit, you get your digital ID card, a USB card reader, and your PIN codes. You provide fingerprints during collection, and that's it. You officially become an Estonia e-resident. Now, this is where most people stop, but this is actually where the real opportunity begins. The real benefits. Now let's talk about the part most people care about. What can you actually do with this card? This is where things get interesting. Once you receive your e-residency, you can register an Estonian company online, completely remotely, without physically moving to Estonia. And this company becomes a legitimate European Union business entity. Now understand why this matters. Because the moment you operate through an EU company, you immediately look more credible to European clients, startups, and businesses. Invoices become easier, compliance becomes easier, payments become easier, trust becomes easier. And for freelancers, consultants, remote workers, agencies, IT professionals, and online business owners, that changes everything. You also gain access to modern financial infrastructure, platforms like Wise Business, Stripe, PayPal, European fintech systems, international invoicing tools, and you can manage all of this remotely from your laptop. This is why digital entrepreneurs love Estonia, because Estonia understands the future of work, and that future is remote, global, digital, and borderless. Now let's talk strategy, because this is where smart people separate themselves from everyone else. Most people get the card and wait. They hope clients magically appear. But that's not how opportunities work. You need positioning, you need outreach, you need strategy. One of the smartest ways to use Estonia e-residency is by offering consulting services through your EU company. Think about it. If you're in tech, cybersecurity, marketing, finance, content creation, AI, software development, research, design, automation, business consulting, or basically any professional service, you can use your Estonian company to position yourself professionally inside the European market. And here's the powerful part most people never talk about. The European Union spends billions every year on contracts, consulting, services, research, digital transformation, engineering, communication, and technology projects. European companies also prefer working with EU-registered entities. Why? Because legally and financially it's smoother. And when you own an Estonian company, you suddenly become part of that ecosystem. Now, obviously, this doesn't guarantee success overnight, but it gives you access, and access changes everything. Now, how to find clients. Now, the big question becomes, where do you actually find opportunities? First, the Estonia e-residency community itself. This community is full of entrepreneurs, founders, consultants, freelancers, remote workers, and globally minded professionals. Many of them collaborate, many hire, many build partnerships, and networking inside this ecosystem can become incredibly valuable. Second, Estonia's startup ecosystem. Estonia may be a small country physically, but digitally, it's a giant. Companies connected to Estonia have produced major global brands, and Estonian startups are known for hiring internationally. You can explore platforms like Work in Estonia, Startup Jobs, Well-Found, LinkedIn, Top Startups, Angel List, and company career pages. But here's the mistake most people make. They only apply online. That's not enough anymore. You need direct outreach, you need positioning, you need confidence. Reach out to founders, reach out to hiring managers, and say something powerful like, I'm an Estonia e-resident with an EU company. I can immediately support your team as a consultant while we explore a long-term collaboration. That single sentence removes pressure from the employer. No immediate sponsorship stress, no massive bureaucracy up front, just results. And if the relationship works, that's when bigger opportunities can start opening. Now let's talk about the second pathway, and this is where things become even more interesting. Because some people eventually use these professional relationships to transition into long-term European opportunities. Now let me be very clear. E-residency itself is not residency, but it can help you build professional relationships inside Europe. And those relationships can eventually lead toward employment opportunities, business partnerships, long-term contracts, or relocation pathways, especially in sectors like IT, cybersecurity, software engineering, AI, cloud systems, digital operations, and tech consulting. Estonia has been actively developing its digital economy for years, and companies constantly look for skilled international talent. So imagine this. You first start working remotely as a consultant through your EU company. You build trust, you build results, you build relationships. Then eventually, a company may decide they want to work with you long term. And that is when conversations about visas, relocation, or employment pathways can start happening. This is why strategy matters, because smart people don't just chase visas, they build value first, and value creates opportunities. The biggest mistake people make. Now, here's the biggest mistake people make with Estonia e-Residency. They think the card itself changes their life. It doesn't. The card is just a tool. That's it, a tool. The real value comes from what you do after getting it. Your outreach, your networking, your positioning, your skills, your consistency, your ability to create trust inside the European ecosystem. That's what actually creates opportunities. Final thoughts. So if you're someone who wants to build internationally, work remotely, create an EU business presence, connect with European clients, or strategically position yourself closer to Europe, then Estonia e-Residency is definitely something worth understanding. No, it's not a magic shortcut. No, it doesn't automatically give you residency. And no, it doesn't guarantee success. But what it does give you is access. And in today's digital economy, access is powerful. Very powerful. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. If you watched until this point, comment the word e-Residency below. I genuinely want to know who stayed till the end. And if you found this video valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because on this channel we talk about smart pathways into Europe, work permits, digital opportunities, immigration strategies, and international career growth. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Right here on a Smart Card Europe.